Imagine the camera fading in from absolute darkness, revealing a silent starfield that suddenly fractures as a colossal silhouette glides into view, the star space warship Vanguard Prime. Its 9-kilometer frame blotting out constellations, facets of matte gunmetal armor catching the light of distant suns. The narrator's voice drops to a resonant whisper, guiding the audience ever closer to the vessel that has redefined interstellar power projection and become legend among traders, tacticians, and dreamers alike. We drift alongside the outer hull, sensors mapping a tessellation of hexagonal plating engineered from titanium tritanium weave. Each slab interlocks with micron precision, deflecting micrometeorites and dissipating directed energy strikes before they scar the surface. Autonomous maintenance drones scuttle across recessed rails, welding, polishing, and scanning for flaws while leaving a living mosaic of micro-lights shimmering against the void. A visual symphony that hints at the constant vigilance required to keep such a beast combat-ready. Defensive architecture vibrates beneath that quiet skin like a caged heartbeat. Gravitic shield emitters the size of locomotives nestle inside angular housings, projecting translucent bubbles that can shear kinetic rounds into vapor and scatter particle lances into harmless auroras. Their power drawn from twin singularity reactors buried deep within the armored spine, reactors that tame collapsing neutronium cores to spit out terawatts of clean energy, enabling Vanguard Prime to shrug off volleys that would reduce lesser capital ships to expanding clouds of debris. Our camera swings aft toward the propulsion cathedral. 24 variable geometry ion fusion thrusters arrayed in a sweeping crescent, each bell glowing core white at its heart, melting through gradients of sapphire and cyan toward the rim as magnetically contained plasma churns under unimaginable pressure. The thrusters articulate on colossal gimbals, letting the ship pivot with scalpel precision, and nested between them lie the ominous slipstream rift projectors. Black rings crackling with quantum filaments that can fold spacetime and sling the vessel across light years in the blink of a sensor sweep. For fine maneuvering, Vanguard Prime employs a network of reaction control clusters seamlessly embedded along every edge, each nozzle coated in ablative ceramic composite that laughs at the backwash of its own exhaust. During evasive sequences, these clusters spit jets in choreographed bursts, rolling the ship through 3 axes with balletic grace, a ballet that belies her 43-billion-ton mass and allows her to outdance cruisers a tenth her size when the tactical situation demands agility over brute intimidation. The spine of the vessel conceals the linear accelerator cannon, a rail spanning the entire length from hexapoint prow to reactor bulkhead. Superconducting coils chilled toward absolute zero fling ferromagnetic slugs at 16% of light speed, each slug the mass of a commercial airliner, and when one connects, the kinetic energy released is comparable to planetary tectonic events. Internal cutaways reveal quantum firing circuits, cryogenic pumps, and recoil dampers the height of skyscrapers, all synchronized to deliver an earth-shaking punch without tearing Vanguard Prime's own frame apart. 8 turreted particle beam citadels flank that rail, housings armored against direct hits, emitters channeling plasma condensed from fusion byproducts, then pinched by concentric magnetic chambers until matter itself becomes a weaponized column of star-hot energy. When the beams converge on a hostile dreadnought, the impact flash rivals a solar flare, carving armor like fruit rind and leaving molten scars. Hundreds of meters deep, the turrets rotate independently, stitching fiery patterns across enemy formations while the main railgun cools for its next devastating salvo. Recessed launch bays hinge open along the dorsal ridge, blossoming like steel petals to disgorge clouds of adaptive cruise missiles, each missile coated in iridescent metasurfaces that refract hostile sensors, warheads packed with nanite matrix charges able to reconfigure mid-flight into antimatter penetrators or wideband dispersers. AI swarm logic links every missile, forming a distributed brain that plots evasive spirals, decoys, and feints faster than human gunners can react. The launch spectacle resembles a choreographed fireworks display that precedes cataclysm at the other end. No ship survives long without ironclad point defense, and Vanguard Prime's towers bristle with phased array lasers, automated flak cannons, and micro-rail turrets that cooperate under combat AI shards called wardens. Each warden tracks threats across thousands of cubic kilometers, calculating interception lattices and coordinating kill zones with sibling shards. The result is a reactive shield of tungsten and coherent light that can erase incoming torpedoes, fighter wings, or even debris that threatens to compromise the integrity of her armor during high-speed maneuvers. Above the main deck rises a forest of sensor masts, antennae, and hyperspectral telescopes feeding petabytes per second into the cognition core. Quantum neural matrices sift that torrent, modeling enemy plasma plumes, predicting vector changes, and sculpting electronic countermeasures on the fly. Entire battles can hinge on milliseconds of superior data flow, and Vanguard Prime wages war as much with photons and algorithms as with slugs and antimatter, casting ghost images, jamming comms, or hijacking hostile fire control loops to redirect shots back at their owners. Deep within the citadel sits the command nexus, a hemispherical amphitheater lit by cerulean ambient glow. Volumetric projections soar from deck to ceiling, mapping allied units, threat vectors, and real-time damage readouts. Every station houses a neural interface chair where officers tether their senses to shipboard AI, reaction time shrinking to microseconds. Gestural commands ripple through air like silent spells, conjuring missile strikes and shield rotations. The bridge hums with choreographed urgency, yet an observer feels the calm precision of a symphony rather than the chaos of war. Human resilience depends on comfort as much as armor, so an expansive habitat ring spins at exactly 1 revolution per minute, producing gentle gravity for 17,000 crew inside. Gardens bloom beneath LED suns, hydroponic towers convert waste into fresh vegetables, and observation decks tempt off-duty personnel with unobstructed nebula vistas. Morale is treated as a system as critical as propulsion. Gyms echo with martial arts drills, libraries host holographic lectures, and medbays employ swarms of nanoscopic surgeons that knit torn muscle faster than old Earth doctors once changed bandages. The heart of all this is the twin-core singularity reactor assembly, gravity wells suspended in magnetic bottles where matter streams swirl toward event horizons. Injected antimatter annihilates in controlled bursts, radiant energy harvested by thermonic converters then funneled through superconducting arteries cooled by liquid graphene. Kilometer-long radiator fins unfurl when safe to vent heat, glowing dull crimson against the dark, and every vital circuit loops through redundant backseal corridors so even catastrophic hits cannot silence the engine that keeps Vanguard Prime alive. Vanguard Prime was born in the ashes of the Perseus conflict when pirate armadas, armed with stolen fleets, preyed on distant colonies. Desperate governors united rival corporations under one banner to forge a vessel capable of single-ship dominance. Archival footage shows orbital yards welding superstructures in zero-G, sparks blooming like nebulae while diplomats signed treaties on floating platforms. Early prototypes exploded under railgun recoil tests, but lessons hardened designers' resolve until the 9th frame finally withstood full-power firing, earning the ship's crest a phoenix clutching a thunderbolt. Across decades of service, Vanguard Prime escorted refugee convoys through contested wormholes, mediated fragile ceasefires, and deterred blockades without firing a shot. Yet her legend crystallized at the Battle of Helios Gate, where a coalition ambush leveraged plasma storms from a binary star to blind targeting arrays. Vanguard Prime's electronic warfare suite cut a signal path through the maelstrom, guiding missiles that unraveled the ambushers' formations in minutes. Recorded footage of molten hull shards spiraling into stellar gravity wells became a warning to every would-be aggressor. Meanwhile, upgrades never slowed. Retrofit cycles, integrated modular weapon bays, AI firmware evolved emergent tactics, and drone foundries and vast cargo holds printed next-generation interceptors overnight. Self-healing nanotube mesh layers bonded to the armor using stellar radiation to knit microscopic fissures, meaning cumulative damage rarely breached core bulkheads. Each refit pushed operational envelopes so far that the vessel remains not merely relevant but revolutionary, a proving ground for technologies that later trickled down to escort frigates and planetary defense stations. To illustrate potential, the narrator conjures a hypothetical crisis. Distant colonies report gravitational anomalies hinting at a rogue fleet wielding a dark energy superweapon. Trade hubs shelter billions yet stand undefended. Only a platform with Vanguard Prime's reach, adaptability, and firepower can intercept in time. We watch